Alright, so let's talk about inverses a little bit. So we talked about sine, cosine, and tangent. And last year we took a little look at their inverses, which is basically where we just flip the graph on the side and see what the heck's going on. If we remember back from Algebra 1, we had this thing called the vertical line test. And basically that's where we literally drew a line straight up and down, and if it touched more than one point, it was not a function. So that was really unfortunate. So looking at these graphs, they're not functions, because if I draw a vertical line here, it's going to touch more than one point. If I draw a vertical line here, it's going to touch more than one point. And if I draw a vertical line there, it's going to touch more than one point, which is a problem. So, the only part of these graphs that we really care about is where is this a function? Well, typically with graphing, I try to start at 0, 0. So, 0, 0, and I'm just going to go for as long as I can. So where is it going to stop being a function? Well, if I go any further going up, I'm actually going to double back on myself. And once I start doubling back on myself, that's when it becomes not a function. So now I got to go back the other way. Kapow. There it would start doubling back on itself. So the domain of this particular inverse is just literally going to be from -1 to 1. And that's it. Alright, and those are both included, so make sure they get brackets. And then my range, well, that's pi, so in between 0 and pi would be pi halves. So it's going to be from negative pi halves to positive pi halves, and that is included. Cool. Coming to look at cosine now. Okay, I'm still going to start at 0, and we actually just use this little piece here. Why we don't use the bottom one, that's a really great question, but it's just a lot more common to use the one up top. Just because who really likes negative numbers? The domain now would be still from -1 to 1 still, and those are both included. And my range would actually be from 0 to pi. Also in brackets. Alright, and then if you see, we've switched tangent over, which actually means that, hey, we still have asymptotes. But this time they're horizontal asymptotes. Well, my domain, looking down below, my domain is a set of all my x's. Well, there's not a singular x within this particular bit that I can't plug in, so that'd be all reals, otherwise known as negative infinity to positive infinity. But the range this time is just going to be between those two asymptotes, because I can't cross those particular horizontal asymptotes, just like in normal graphs I can't cross vertical asymptotes. So my range is just going to be from negative pi over 2 to positive pi over 2. Alright, so down below I've just kind of included where on the unit circle these actually take place as far as the range goes. I know I kind of mentioned this last year, but just as a refresher, I know some people like visuals, some people are just like, oh yeah, I remember that type of deal. And if you're one of those that, oh yeah, I remember that type of deal, great. If not, hopefully some visuals kind of cue some memories up in there.